You're listening to the Balanced Educator Podcast, episode number 9. Welcome to the Balanced Educator. We're your hosts, Kaylee
and Josiane from EduCalm. Our intention is to equip and empower you to feel more calm, balanced, and joyful in all aspects of your life.
Hey guys, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about how emotions are actually biologically created in our body so that we can understand a little bit better how to deal with big or difficult emotions. Once we know where they start, we can better manage them. So before we get into a big science-y nerd talk, I just want to take a second to say hi and welcome to anyone that is new to listening to the show. And thank you so much to anyone that keeps coming back every week.
We appreciate you so much.
Yeah, me and Josiane are both the type of people that if we're at a party or a get-together, we're like off to the side having a really deep one-on-one conversation with someone. So it's so fun to connect with you guys this way because it feels so natural for us. And we can go into so much more depth than we've been able to do just in writing over emails or in blog posts. So this is so much fun. And thank you for connecting with us.
Thank you.
So let's jump into the show. Today, we're going to talk about emotions. We really love to teach this to kids because it gives us so much power when we understand how our bodies work.
So here at EduCalm, Kaylee is the science girl. She is our go-to for anything science. I am more the artsy-fartsy creative of the two, I think. Am I right?
Artsy-fartsy, yeah.
And so actually, I have a Bachelor of Arts and Kaylee has a Bachelor of Science. So it's actually...
we complement each other really well because
yes.
we kind of look at the stuff that we teach from these two separate angles. And I think it's fun to be able to explain one concept in different ways.
Yes. And if you have not noticed, Kaylee is the more talkative one and I'm the quieter one of the two. And actually, today, Kaylee, I think, will be taking the stage for the most part because we're going to get into this sciencey topic that she explains so well. So let's do this.
All right, let's do it. So first I want to just say kind of where I learned these concepts. It was from a Dr. Joe Dispenza book. It's called You Are the Placebo. I highly recommend the book. You read it too, Josiane.
Yeah.
I think I might have been more excited about it than you because by the time you read it, I'd already been like talking to you about this a lot. But I really loved how he broke down just how our mind and our body work together. And the funny thing is that when I read the book, I was like, why wasn't I taught these concepts before? And then I actually went into my old psychology textbooks because I used to teach psychology in high school. And I was like, was this something that I taught? Because I don't remember teaching this.
Yeah.
And then I also took psychology in university, and I didn't remember learning those concepts. So I looked back, and they were in the textbooks. It's just that it wasn't taught to me in a way that I felt like I could apply it to my life in that time. Yeah. So I think I just forgot it.
Yeah. And now that you're saying that, I took lots of psychology classes too, and this is not something that I remember learning.
Yeah.
But it was also a long time ago, so
yeah.
It's hard to know.
Yeah, but it's funny how, you can learn something a bunch of different times, but you only really digest it when sort of the timing is right for you.
Yeah.
So I really digested this about a year ago when I first found out about Dr. Joe Dispenza. And so I'm going to explain it kind of the way that he explains it with my own twist on it. So here is how emotions are created. First, it starts with a thought. So you think a thought, then your brain makes a key, a chemical, that goes into your body. It locks into your cells, and it makes you feel a feeling. So step 1, you have a thought. Step 2, it creates a key. Step 3, it locks into your cells. Step 4, you feel a certain way. So let's apply this to a real life situation that everyone has experienced if you are a driver, if you could drive. So if you've ever been driving down the road and someone cuts you off, you have a thought like, what a jerk. That angry thought creates a key for the emotion of anger in your brain. That key goes down into your body, locks into all of your cells, and then creates a response in your cells that makes you feel the feelings of anger. So, Josiane, how would you describe how anger feels in your body?
Like tightening of my hands and just tension in my body.
Yeah. So that tension that you feel in your body, that maybe you might start feeling hot, kind of that hot anger in your face. So that's just happening because there's this chemical key that your brain created that's locking into your cells. Now, once the key is in the cells, so the key is locked into the lock.
Like the anger key.
Yeah, the anger key is locked into the lock. You're going to feel that emotion until you stop thinking those thoughts, okay? So let's run through our scenario again. I'm driving. Someone cuts me off. I think, what a jerk. That thought creates a key for anger. The anger keys goes into my blood. It locks into all my cells, and it makes me feel the feeling of anger. Now that my body is feeling the feeling of anger, it's talking back to my brain to say, hey, I'm feeling angry. Give me more of these angry keys. So it creates this loop, and the feeling in my body asks my brain for more. So what do? I run through the scenario in my brain over and over, rethinking that person that cut me off and how terrible they are and what were they thinking. And I invent all these stories in my mind that continue to create more of the anger keys so that the anger keys go in my blood, they lock into my cells feel angry, and then my body says, hey, I'm angry, give me more anger. So it's this feedback loop that can go on all day, really.
So what you're saying is that whenever I relive the story of the person cutting me off in my brain, I'm giving my body more of the anger keys every time.
Exactly. So you just keep feeding your body more thoughts to create more of that emotion. So what a mindfulness practice is awesome for is helping us to notice what our thoughts are. So that if I feel anger in my body, I can go, whoa, I don't want to feel angry anymore. So what do I have to do? I have to either just stop thinking the angry thoughts or replace those thoughts with a new thought for an emotion that I do want to have. So a great way to stop this cycle is to appreciate whatever you can appreciate in this moment and to tell yourself a new story. So now I'm driving. I'm like, oh, I don't want to feel angry. Let's stop this. So I start noticing, wow, what a beautiful sunny day. I love when the sun is shining. It puts me in such a good mood. I love this shirt that I'm wearing today. Oh, my favorite song's on the radio. And I can just keep thinking thoughts of appreciation. Now what is my brain doing? It has stopped making the angry keys because now I'm putting it on a new radio station. I'm switching the channel and I'm saying I'm ordering good feeling emotions by making the order in my mind. So I want to feel good. So I think good thoughts. And then if you try this, if you really pay attention, you'll actually start to feel the sensations that those thoughts are creating in your body. So when you really think of what you appreciate and things that you love, you start to feel those fuzzy, warm feelings in your body. Now, we can kind of visualize what's actually happening. I'm thinking a good thought. So I can feel my brain starting to make the good feeling keys. Those good feeling keys are going into my bloodstream, locking into every single one of my cells. Now my cells are feeling good. They're turned on to appreciation. And so what does my body do? It talks to my brain to let it know what's going on. Hey, we're feeling good down here. Let's have some more good thoughts because I want more good feeling keys. So now I've created a thought, feeling, emotion loop that feels really good. Now, this is very different from kind of what we've been raised to understand, is that external things make us feel a certain way. So like, I am angry because that person cut me off in traffic. It's not the person that cut me off in traffic that gave me an emotion. It is my thoughts about the situation that created the feeling in my body. So what if I made a news story? What if the person that cut me off, I say, wow, they must be really having a bad day, because if they were to be so thoughtless as to cut me off and potentially cause an accident, there must be something difficult going on in their life today. So I can have compassion for that person. Same situation, but totally different feeling in my body.
Yeah, different perspective also.
Yeah.
Like you chose to have a different perspective,
Exactly.
a different thought.
Exactly. So no one can make me, nothing in the world has the power to make me feel any way that I don't want to feel. Now, this takes practice, of course, lots of practice. But nothing can make me feel anything. Only my thoughts make me feel things.
Okay, so now if we want to put this into practice, so how do we take this information and then use it in the right moments? You know what I mean? Like,
yes. So I would say that the best way to start is with your own mindfulness practice. So if you aren't sure how to start a mindfulness or meditation practice, you can go back to episode number 6, where we explain exactly how to start your own mindfulness practice. So we talked about in that episode how during your mindfulness practice, what we're kind of trying to do is observe our thoughts. So that gives us space to see, what perceptions am I choosing to have about any given situation? What thoughts am I choosing to have? And what emotions are those thoughts creating? So once we start to be able to see our thoughts as kind of like an external thing, then we have the power to change that habitual thought pattern. Our brain is just doing what we've programmed it to do in the past. Our brain is just an imprint of what we've taught it. So in the past, maybe you didn't know about this. So of course you wouldn't have trained your brain to think in a certain way. But now that once you know better, you do better. So now that we know that you can choose your thought to create the emotion that you want to have, it's just about starting to do that. So what I like to do is notice what triggers negative emotion in my life. So for me, one thing that I worked with a lot was just mornings. Like I was not a morning person, and I literally woke up in the morning going, ugh, another day. Like every single day. And then one day I was like, I don't like feeling bad in the mornings. What's causing me to feel bad in the mornings? Why did I decide that I'm not a morning person? Like, who made that decision? I made that decision. So if I can choose to be a morning person, I can choose to think a new thought that makes me feel a better feeling. So what I did was I put a sticky note on my wall right when I open my eyes in the morning. That's what I see that says, today is going to be awesome. And I trained my mind to think today is going to be awesome as soon as I woke up. So it was a long process, because when you first wake up, you go directly into your pre-programmed programming. You just do what you did in the past. So,
and it's a habit.
Exactly. So I would wake up and I would go, ugh, wait, no, I'm changing this. Today is going to be awesome. And then I would think of all the reasons that today was going to be awesome until I started to feel good feelings in my body. And I just kept doing that, kept reminding myself, no, mornings are awesome. I love mornings. It's a new day. Today is going to be so fun. There's so many exciting things coming up. I can't wait to do this and this and this. And then one day I woke up and I immediately thought, today is going to be awesome. And I was like, oh, I did it. I programmed my brain. The new programming.
That's so exciting.
It was like such a cool feeling that I woke up. I had been purposefully trying to reprogram my brain for so long. And I just woke up and it did it on its own. And that's what our brain does. It just does what we've trained it to do. So we always have the power to think a new thought that creates a new emotion, that creates a new feeling, and continue that good feeling loop and kind of just choosing one thing at a time. So maybe start with your morning. And then once that becomes a habit, where else am I kind of having this automatic feeling in my life? Can I change my thought around it so that I feel better around it?
So one thing I remember my mom teaching me when I was younger was when I didn't want to clean, because what kid wants to clean the house? She tried to help me, or she helped me in training my brain to think that cleaning is exercise. So when you're cleaning, you're moving your body in different ways that you wouldn't normally move your body. And it really helps to this day for me to clean my house. And it's like such a small shift in my thinking.
Yeah.
That makes cleaning not half as bad as it used to be.
Yes. Because now it's like, ooh, here's a chance to exercise. Here's a chance to move my body in a way that it feels good.
Yes. So thank you, Mom.
Yeah. Okay, that gave me an idea of a mom story for me too. And I think this is one that we can absolutely apply with the kids in our lives is when I would ever come home and be complaining about someone to my mom, like I would say, so-and-so said this, and she would always ask me to look at the situation from their perspective. Like she would say, why do you think they said that? What do you think was going on in their mind or in their life that would cause them to act in that way? And then we would talk it out and until I got to the point where I felt like, oh, they weren't directing it at me, or it wasn't my fault that they said that thing. It was actually something that was going on for them. And then I could start feeling like I remember actually going from feeling angry and annoyed and frustrated to by the end of our chat, I would feel like compassionate and loving towards that person. And the situation didn't change. So it wasn't the situation that made me feel a certain feeling. It was how I chose to view the situation that made me feel a feeling. So anything in our life, we can change that loop. Now, I'm going to go into another interesting thing. So our body, and this I learned again from Dr. Joe Dispenza, actually gets addicted to the thought, emotion chemicals that it's used to getting. So if we have been stuck for a long time in negative thinking, that creates negative keys, and we feel those negative keys in our body. Once we stop thinking the negative thoughts, we're no longer feeding those negative keys to our cells. Now, our cells, which are so used to having that negative key, start freaking out and going, hey, I'm used to having this thing. It's kind of like heroin. It's actually addicting to our bodies. I'm used to feeling this specific key. So give me more thoughts that create this specific key. So you know how sometimes, like, if you're kind of going through a difficult time and you have a day that's better, there seems to be something that comes in that causes you to get back into that yucky feeling place. Like it kind of keeps pulling you down. Well, it's really empowering to know that like, this is just how my body works. Like my body just is asking me for more negative keys. Okay, that's what it's used to right now. So I can get it used to a new key. So I can intentionally practice and remind myself and make a point of thinking good thoughts until my body's actually addicted to good feeling keys. And that in a negative situation, I might have a negative thought that creates negative keys and I feel negative in my body, but my body's used to the good feeling place. So it more quickly wants to go back to that good feeling place.
Yeah, and I can think of like in my own life when I went through a difficult time in the last few years, I was totally stuck in that negative cycle, and it was feeding my body negative or emotions that I didn't want to have, you know? But as I learned this and decided that I was choosing positivity, it took a lot of time and patience. But just taking this time to notice my thoughts and changing them so that they're positive thoughts, I began, I think, to be addicted to positive thoughts more and more.
Yeah. Yeah. Like at this point, it's kind of interesting because it comes in two waves. It's kind of like once you get addicted to the good feelings, when you do have a bad feeling, you're like, it almost feels a little bit worse because you're so used to feeling good that when you feel bad, you're like, whoa, what is this?
And at the same time, you know that it's temporary.
Yes.
You know that you're not going to be stuck in that emotion forever. You know that you're going to find your way out and that there is something to learn from this emotion and these thoughts you're having. Right?
Exactly. So yeah, it's the like, oh man, I'm not used to feeling bad anymore. And I have a strategy. I know what I can do to get back to that good feeling place. And just trusting that, you know, your body's now programmed to feel good. So it's going to get back there.
Yeah. So for all the visual people out there, we actually created an infographic to explain how this works.
Yeah. So we took my science brain and then I gave the science to Josiane and she made it pretty. So you can find it by going to our show notes. So go to podcast.educalm, that's EDUCALME/TBE, as in the Balanced Educator, 009, and we'll have a link to it there. For anyone that's also a member or already a member of the Balanced Educator free resources library, you'll just see it in there. So that's where we always put our free resources. Once you are enrolled in that free course, then you'll just always be able to access that.
Hey, thank you so much. We appreciate you so much.
Yes, thank you for being here. If you have any questions, absolutely connect with us on Instagram. You can find us at educalm, EDUCALME. I also want to take a second to say a huge thank you to everyone who's been leaving reviews on iTunes. When you leave a review for us, we see it and it's so fun to connect with you that way. And also it really helps other people that are looking for shows like this one to be able to find it in their feed when they're searching for new podcasts. And of course, thank you so much for just telling your friends that might benefit from this podcast about it. I know all of my favorite podcasts, I've always found it because one of my friends has recommended it to me. So it's really cool that that's a big way that podcasts actually get shared. So thank you guys so much. Next week on the podcast, we are going to be talking about emotions again, but we're going to talk about how you can use this concept with the kiddos in your life. So we'll see you again next week on the Balanced Educator Podcast.